The 90s was like an end of an era, and I feel a little bit devastating talking about the good old days. And people say this kind of thing about whatever decade they might be from, and there's a saying that whatever decade you're in your 20s, you kind of enjoy stuff. I was not in my 20s in the 90s because I was born in 85, but it's like there is some truth in nostalgia and looking back, and you're gonna enjoy it. But there's also more to it than just that. It's not just that you're looking back and enjoying the good old days. There's some truth that there's more to it, that things were getting worse, and that's devastating. But there's like truth behind it, kind of thing. Like we gotta look at the bigger picture, and it's devastating to see what has been happening to culture globally, especially after the 90s into the early 2000s. A lot of things have changed, and so the difference between the 90s and the early 2000s is a lot bigger, a much bigger of a change, much bigger culturally, historically, geographically. Everything you can imagine is much bigger than the difference between the 80s and the 90s. It's a lot more different, and like it's a lot of things are happening, but a lot of bad things were happening, but now a lot of good things are happening. When you're able to realize what's happening and turn the tide, then nothing can really stop us, kind of thing. Like I believe in peace, and I believe in waking up, and I believe in some kind of manifested destiny, or maybe not manifested destiny. I need to think about what I'm going to say before I say it, but except I don't, but I do, and because I've thought about a lot of stuff for a very long time, and I see a lot of hope in going against evil. I believe that there's evil rising, and it's been rising for a very long time. It always rises up and down again, like up and down, like people go and they stand up and they fight against the evil, and then it goes back down, and then comes back up in a few decades or so, like every 20 years or so, it comes in again, and like tyranny is only one generation away or something like that. And it's like there's a lot of hope, but you have to give the proper tools to the next generation, your children and grandchildren, to the people that are younger. You got to pass it on, the kind of thing. But it's like if you're giving them a little bit too much, and they have nothing to work on, nothing to work with, they have nothing to really build upon. If they feel like everything is good, then it's like they're not really going to work hard. And there's the paradox in that people talk about, and it's devastating, but it's like, what are you going to do about it, kind of thing. But it's a cool thing to think about in a lot of ways, that there is a lot of hope, but there's a lot of tyranny, and I believe in stopping evil. I believe that evil can be stopped, and that's why I talk about it online for many years now. And as I get older, I talk about it more and more, and I'm a little more direct and stuff. And I'm looking back at all the stuff I've done, and I'm trying to clean it up and organize. I'm trying to explain it to other people, like what it is, what it's not, and everything. And I'm trying to focus in. I see a lot of concern, but there's a lot of good in people coming together. And there's a lot of false flags and traps and stuff, and a lot of co-ops happening in the world. But I feel like it's a good thing to stand up and come together and not do it in a violent kind of way, and because I'm against that. But I'm also here to really appreciate people who are able to be on fire for the Lord, or be on fire for what they believe in. And I believe that there's a lot of virtue, a lot of hope when you're able to be angry. And I may not be angry right now, but there's a heart in me that's angry in a way like Christ got angry. He would turn over tables, and there's a time for this and a time for that, a tale of two cities. And you need to know your place, in the sense of you got to know what is important and know when to stand up firmly for what matters. But you got to have a lot of wisdom, um, a lot of understanding of what matters, and that comes with time, but also comes with a heart that's dig deep in principles and things that really matter. And that's the heart of the matter of it all. And the 90s was an interesting time that I grew up in, and And there's a lot of stereotypes that can be associated with different decades and naming the decades. And there is a lot of interesting things that you can get from it. And when I look at the 90s, I think of it as the Clinton 90s, because Bill Clinton was the president for most of that time. And you can call it whatever you want, and your own experience is going to be different than the other people around you, kind of thing. But at the same time, there's a cultural movement that happens for the majority of people in any given era, and that should be taken in account at the same time. And if we are able to bring everything back to how things were, then you are able to, we are able to make things better in a lot of ways. And regardless of what happens, I believe in trying.